Hi everyone, I'm Gabrielle. I also go by the Mystic Hottie. Thank you for joining me for today's video. If you haven't tuned in before we get started, I just want to show you guys my hair. I just installed it today and I think that is super cute. It's supposed to be kind of like a kinky blowout. And I don't know, it just reminded me kind of like of the 90s. So I was really fucking with it. And at first I wasn't because I don't usually do like hair that's straighter. I usually do curly hair or I just wear my afro. So like my first thought was like, I'm gonna return this because I was like, I'm not wearing that. But the more I kind of like wore it and just like touched it up a little bit, I was like, okay, I see it. I feel very like sophisticated, very grown. And then I'll link it below too. But we're just going to get started with today's video because there's a lot. I've had a lot of life updates since I last filmed. The first one, probably the craziest one that's happened to me, is I got hit by a car. Yeah, like I literally got hit by a car, you guys. It was actually crazy. So I'm going to tell y'all the story. So I was walking because I don't have a car, right? So I was walking to the bus stop and I have to cross this kind of like busy intersection. And this intersection is the bane of my existence. I hate it. Oh God, don't even get me started on this fucking crosswalk because I actually hate it so much. So I was walking over there and it's just set up very poorly. So while I'm walking straight, the cars can take a left turn at the same time. And so that's what happened. I was just vibing, just walking on my little strut right across the street. I was listening to Nelly Furtado, Say It Right. That song's like my anthem now. So I was like listening to it as I was like walking across the street, right? And then usually I like look back to make sure there's like no cars, and I did, because the cars kind of, they don't give a damn. Like they'll keep turning and stuff. So you kind of have to just like be careful and make sure like a car doesn't hit you or like look back, or try to like walk across the street super fast. So that's like what happened. And then I like looked and I think that it's clear. And so I just keep walking and then I like look back. But by the time I'm like looking, it's too late and like a car is like hitting me. So I like fall to the ground. It like sideswipes my whole right side. So then I like fall to the ground. I'm like, oh my God, like a car just fucking hit me. And I'm just like, obviously in shock. And so my phone like falls, my little earbud falls out of my ear and everything. And I like hear like commotion, like somebody asking, like, am I okay? From like behind me. And then the guy who like hit me, he like didn't drive off, which was yeah. So he didn't drive off. He like stops and he was coming out of the car asking if I was okay. But I was kind of just like tuning it out just because there was like so much happening. And so I'm like on the ground and I'm swear I'm only on there for like less than a minute because like in my mind, I'm like laying there, but my brain's like, get up, get up, get up. Like you can't just like lay here. So I got up like super fast and I literally like limped away to the sidewalk. And then the guy who's behind me, it was just this like really sweet older couple. And he like comes up to me, he like helps me sit down and he's like, hey, are you okay? Like I saw like the whole thing happen. And he's asking like, you should go to the hospital. Do you want me to call the cops? And then the guy who hit me, he like comes up too. And he's like, hey, I can call the cops. I can do like this. I can do that. And honestly, he was nice enough for a guy who hit me with his car. And he was very like cooperative, which is good. And so like my first instinct, I was like, no, like I don't need to go to the hospital. I don't need to like call the cops or anything like that. Just because I guess I was just so in shock and I was kind of like shaking a little bit. My eyes were like super open. And then we ended up going to the hospital because the hospital was like literally right in front of like the situation that happened. Like I could walk there if I wanted to. The like older couple, they like drove me to the hospital and the guy behind, he like followed. So I like go into the hospital and everything, and they do some like x-rays and stuff. And I don't have any like broken bones. So like I said, it like side swipes my right side. And I was super blessed and lucky that I didn't have like any broken bones or anything like that. I didn't hit my head. But what did happen? Brain fart. Okay, yeah. So I stayed in the hospital just for a little bit and then I went home obviously to like rest and stuff. They gave me like medication. And I was just like I was crying a lot because I was like, oh my God, I like got hit by a fucking car. Like that's crazy. And it was always my fear because, like I said, this intersection, I hate it. I hate it. Like the cars just don't give a damn. And then I literally got hit. But I'm like really happy that I'm okay. So I've been going to like the chiropractor. I have been, I went to go get like MRI tests done and stuff because that way they could see if there's like anything else that was happening. And so I do have 3 herniated discs. I have one in my neck and then 2 in my lower back. And so I've just been trying to kind of like work with that. I had to get epidural shots, like the steroid shots, and oh my fucking God, it felt like I had got hit by a car all over again. Like, no joke, they really hurt. So I got those, and that kind of helped with the pain for a while. It's definitely not as painful as it used to be. I would get like just like constant headaches. Like whenever my neck would hurt, like my head would hurt, and it would just be kind of like all day type of thing. But since I got those epidural shots, it's been feeling like a little bit better, and so hopefully I can get like some more done and stuff. But yeah, so me getting hit by a car, I can kind of like laugh about it a little bit now, and everything, and I feel like a lot better and stuff. But obviously, when it first happened, it was like very traumatic. I was like crying a lot. I like took a little bit off of work and stuff. And like I said, I am so 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 blessed that I wasn't like more hurt than like what I really was. Um, but yeah, it was a very crazy situation, and I like the night that it happened, I had a panic attack because I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Like, I can't miss that much of work. And like, my body is like in so much pain. And I just had like very high level of anxiety from the situation and everything. And so I had like a panic attack and I was like crying and I was just like rubbing on my leg and I was like, hey, it's okay. And I just like had to really like be there for myself and I had to like soothe myself. I had to take lots of deep breaths. I think even that night I did like a little bit of light yoga just because my body was like in so much pain. So we're gonna read a little bit from one of my journals from like the day after and everything because I've been doing some like ancestral healing and obviously that situation was kind of like a initiation for me. Like after that happened, so many things in my life changed. I don't know why I had to get hit by a car for things to change like that or for me to get kind of like awakened, but that's what happened. So I'm going to read this little part from my journal from the day after. So it says there's an ancestral wound around vulnerability, around it seeming weak and being seen as dumb or being seen as stupid for feeling vulnerable. And that's how I felt. I felt dumb and I felt weak for getting hit. But I know that vulnerability isn't anything like that and that I can use vulnerability to my strength. But it was definitely me reflecting on an ancestral wound and then I'm just talking about like how my body is sore. But yeah, I when it happened, I do remember just feeling, I guess, kind of like dumb and kind of weak. Obviously, it wasn't my fault. I was walking on the crosswalk. But that was kind of just one of those like initiate or like initial thoughts that happen. So that's another thing that I was kind of like working through, and I definitely know that it was an ancestral wound. I definitely see it in my family. I see it within myself, but I know that vulnerability is a strength. I'm getting on here and I'm talking about things that happened to me, talking about my family, talking about hard situations that I've been through and stuff. And I know that vulnerability is a strength. I know it and I believe it. But it's just one of those things that I'm working through. So yeah, that is my story on how I got hit by a car and how my life is just changing a lot after it and everything. Okay, so next we're going to talk about me getting my own place. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, you might notice that like the background's a little bit different and stuff. So I moved into my own place for the very first time. I was living with my absolute best friend. We're still like this. She just kind of brought up, oh, maybe we should try living on our own because I always talk about how I want to like move out of this city and like live on my own for a little bit and stuff like that and just just see what it's like to be a little grown up living in my own place. So she kind of like brought that up, and we were like, yeah, I think that might be something that could be like really beneficial for both of us. It might like bring us closer together, and just like having the experience of living on your own is important. So that's what happened. I'm in a new place. I have a studio apartment now. And everything kind of happened at like the perfect time. So this also was after the car accident. But we had been thinking about moving for a very long time, but we kept extending our lease. And so I tried to extend the lease like another 6 months, and then like the office lady, she like calls me back and she's like, yeah, we actually give your apartment away to somebody else. So so then we were like, okay, well now we have to move. We're being like forced to move because somebody else is going to move into here. And so we were like both searching for different places and stuff like that. And then I found this place, and it's honestly like everything that I manifested, to be honest with you. So I'm living in like a studio apartment. I have my own backyard, which I'm very grateful for. There's this like big, beautiful tree out there. There's like a patio. There's a hammock. I like laying in the hammock sometimes. My best friend and I, we had like a little mini bonfire last night. Well, we attempted to have a bonfire. I don't know how to make a fire yet, but I will figure it out. And we did like s'mores and stuff like that, and it was just really fun. And it's on the side of town that I really like. Like I love this side of town. It has like a different vibe to it. It's really nice. It kind of reminds me of like old modern money, I guess. But yeah, I'm really, really grateful that I like moved into here. And then a part of it is that I have to take care of these cats. So Susan, my landlord, she's also super cool. She's like has like these Buddhist monk beliefs. She beliefs. She like literally lives in Hawaii, so that's why she rents out this like studio like while she's gone. Um, and what was I saying? Oh yeah, so a part of it is I take care of these cats. She has like five of them, I think, like five or six, and so I just like feed them. They're outside cats. Sometimes one of them, his name is El Jefe. He's the king. You don't want to mess with El Jefe. He's a Siamese cat. He's really really cute. He's not in here right now because he was all like, I want to go outside today, so I let him out. And I just think they're so cute, and I love cats. I fucking love cats. I don't care. I think they're so cute. So I'm so happy that I get to take care of them. And then I also feel like it's a additional responsibility to take care of them and stuff. And I think responsibility is good. So yeah, I'm just super happy. I'm really excited to decorate it the way that I want and everything. Um, and then I'm gonna do a video when it's like fully decorated or like more decorated and stuff. I plan on getting like a little couch and like a TV for the wall and stuff. And I have like a little vision. So I'm kind of doing like maybe like a retro 70s modern type of theme. But you guys, you'll see it. Don't you worry. The video will be coming soon. So yeah, that is my next life update. I moved into my own place. And it's been nice like living alone. I feel like I've had a lot of time just to like reflect and just to be like Gabby and stuff. And it definitely does feel more like grown up living on my own as well. Okay, and so the next thing that I'm going to talk about, I am very, very excited, like super duper excited. So I decided to enroll in a somatic sex educator program. So at the end of it, I will be getting my certification. I'm going to the Institute for the Study of Somatic Sex Education. I think that's the full title. It's a little long, but I'll put it on the screen too if anyone wants to check it out. But I was kind of like debating, like, oh, do I want to be a sex therapist? Do I want to be a sex educator? Because I knew that this path was kind of like calling me. So I was kind of trying to decide, like, where do I want to go with this? And so I looked up this specific institute, and a lot of it just really aligned with what I'm wanting to put out for people and what I'm wanting to like educate myself and other people's on. And so I'm really excited about this. I started my first course. I applied for a scholarship to get it. I'm under the BIPOC scholarship, so Black, Indigenous, and people of color. I'll link everything below if you guys are interested in like checking it out, if you guys feel called to do something like this. But yeah, I'm so excited. There's different things. There's orgasmic yoga. There's the will of consent. There's trauma informed sex education, and like much more. So it's going to be 4 courses. And then we also have, damn, I keep forgetting. Oh, electives. We have electives as well. So like the orgasmic yoga, trauma informed. I think those would be electives, and there's lots and lots more too. But yeah, I'm so excited because I not only have like a Black mentor, which is really important for me, but I'm getting to learn about just like sex on these different levels. Um, and I'm just really excited. But there's something I was going to say. Oh, yeah. So some of the content that I'm going to be learning and then eventually putting out on here, kind of like mindful masturbation, how to connect with our bodies and stuff before we have sex, before we masturbate, and just kind of normalizing it. I think a lot of people have the same question, like, is this normal? Am I normal? Am I normal for getting turned on about this? Am I normal for wanting to have sex in like this specific way? And I definitely want to bring some normalization to the community. Um, and so I'm just very, very excited. I keep saying it because I can't help it, baby. I'm excited. But yeah, just different things as well. They talk about it being like emotional, spiritual as well, because it's not just physical. It's definitely not just physical. There's like our mental is included in it, like where's our headspace, spiritual. A lot of times, like for me, like masturbating connects me with like my divine self, and it connects me with like my most powerful self. And emotional is definitely included in it. So yeah, I'm going to be making some videos about this super soon. This is something that definitely feels called for me and definitely feels aligned. So I'm very grateful to be taking this course and grateful to be putting out education soon and like educating myself about it as well. So yeah. Okay, so the next and last thing that I want to talk about is I got my first big girl job. That's right. I landed my first big girl job. I'm very excited. I'm working for this nonprofit here in town that I really like. They started off just working with people that had AIDS during like the AIDS epidemic, and they slowly branched off to having a clinic. They do stuff for breast cancer, and the grant that I'm under specifically is about like the opioid epidemic and educating people on it. So I'm going to be doing like presentations on opioids, on what an overdose looks like, what it looks like if someone's just really high off of opioids versus if they're overdosing. And then I'm going to be working with Narcan. So if you guys don't know what it is, I'm going to be showing people like how to use it and stuff. And so the one that I'm working with specifically is like a nasal spray. So you spray it in someone's nose and it like reverses the effects of overdose. So someone doesn't like die from an overdose. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. Our boss last week was like, "Oh, I want you guys to look at this pamphlet, and if you want to revamp it, that's fine." And so I was on it. I was like, I already know what color I wanted. I wanted to be pink. I wanted to look like this. And my mind was just like, it was like fuming with like creative energy, just to like make it look good. And then we're going to be working on having like billboards around town, having like posters around town as well. So I'm just really excited to get started on this. This is a new grant that I'm under. And I feel very blessed. This is like the most money that I've made in my life. And this also happened after I got hit by a car. I applied before I got hit by a car. I had the interview before that. But all of these things like collectively came together. And that's why I say that like that moment was a like initiation for me into this kind of new life that I'm living. It changed like a lot for me. Um, I feel very grateful. I feel very blessed for this path that I'm on. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know why I had to get hit by a car for all of this to happen. But that's just the way the cookie crumbled, okay? And here we are. And so yeah, that's kind of like my life update, my somatic sex education certification that I'm going through, getting hit by a car. Um, having my own place and working my first full-time job. And back on like the job thing, I'm really excited about it just because it is something like I have to do something that I'm passionate about. If it's not something I'm passionate about, like my heart won't be in it. I won't be there. Like mentally, I'm gonna be somewhere else and everything. And the goal, of course, is to still have my own business and to be like fully sufficient on that and have that as like my main income and stuff and just have like other parts supporting me financially. But you know what? It ain't gonna happen overnight. Unfortunately, it ain't gonna happen overnight, or else I would have been had it. So, yeah, I think this is a really good pathway to kind of like me having my own business. I think there's more things that I obviously need to learn about kind of like the business world. So yeah, I'm very excited. And I think that kind of wraps everything up for today's video. I really appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you liked anything, if you resonated with anything that I said, please leave a like, please leave a comment. The next one that I'm kind of thinking about, I want to talk about shame. I don't know if that'll be like the exact next video, but there is a video about shame that will be coming out very soon. So yeah, if you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you guys next time.